All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Here I have a YouTuber. His YouTube name is Jay Welch. The title of this video is I'm a multi-millionaire, but I still feel lost in life. And this is right up my alley because there are the amount of clients that I've had who were rich, but were lost in life would absolutely astound you. And it blows my mind every single time that I talk to these people because I just couldn't fathom having that much money and still feeling lost in life. And we'll dive into why I believe that. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say, and then I'll kind of jump in between and give my guidance.
Does anybody else get this overwhelming feeling of being lost in their life? Even for me, after making millions of dollars in my 20s, I am constantly going through these waves where I have no clue what's going on. I got no idea what I'm going to be doing in the future, and it really starts to stress me out. Especially when we're living in this era where I go on my phone, I go on social media, and I see all these kids who just look like they have everything figured out. I think a lot of people look at me this way. I think a lot of people go to my YouTube channel and they see me as somebody who's got it all figured out. Somebody who is just crystal clear on his vision and knows exactly what he wants to do. But this is not the truth.
And a lot of people do that because in most people's minds, because they have money troubles or money problems, that means money is their God. And so if you're a person who has a lot of money or is making a lot of money, you can do no wrong. You know the way. You're the Messiah in a lot of people's eyes. It's one of those things where it's like a human nature thing. A person with a lot of resources, because people want that lifestyle so bad, they think that this person, because they're able to accumulate it, means that they know exactly what it is that they're doing. Meanwhile, the truth is, most of the times, these people are only good at acquiring resources or getting money. Okay, they're not good in every other area that it takes to be a complete, fulfilled human being.
I think I am more similar to you guys in this regard than you know. I'm somebody that is constantly going through these phases that I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. That's actually one of my least favorite questions when people ask me. They're like, "Oh, what's your 5-year plan?" I don't know. Does anybody really know the answer to that question? I think
Yes.
anytime somebody answers that question, they're really just pretending and they're just trying to put on a front to look cool. But does anybody really confidently have an answer to these questions of what is your 5-year plan? I know I don't. You couldn't even have.
Yes. And that's the whole reason that it kind of like blows my mind, because I'm like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're taking all of this action for what? And again, this may be coming from me because I have like the a lazy person's mind, where it's like I don't want to do things that doesn't have a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And so when I do things, it's because I'm trying to reach some type of end goal. But again, the one thing I will say is he is correct. If you go out and you ask people, it's like, what are you trying to accomplish in the next 90 days? What are you trying to accomplish in the next 6 months? What are you trying to accomplish in the next year, 3 years, 5 years? The average person has no idea. And I'm like, what are you like? What are you doing this for? What are you, what are you doing this for? Because then you just end up in his situation where you're making millions of dollars and then like you're stuck. This is where we see a lot of people who have like, they get addicted to drugs, or they get addicted to promiscuity, or they get addicted to all this nonsense, and you're looking at them like, how? And it's because they never had a plan. They never sat down with themselves and figured out what it is that I actually want. And here's the thing about a plan, and I'm gonna quit yapping here in a second. Though here's the thing about a plan. When you have a plan, that doesn't mean it's set in stone and it's concrete, right? Because as you start to go through the plan, you can realize like, oh, okay, let me make some tweaks and some changes. But at least you have a plan. But most guys like this, they have zero plan. And it's like, again, I can't fathom, like, why do you get up in the morning if there's no reason why you're doing it?
Told me 5 years ago that I'd be in this position that I'm in today. I would have got excited if you told me that I would have sold my company for millions of dollars and have close to 2 million subscribers on YouTube. But I also probably would have been like, all right, bro, that's a little ambitious of you to think that of me. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to say is that if you are watching this video and you are somebody who feels lost or stuck in your life, you're not alone. And I will give you guys a couple solutions to this that help me get out of these ruts. But before I say that, I just want to say that I don't think that it ever goes away. I think that you have seasons where you feel.
No, it goes away. It goes away.
Feel like you know exactly what's going on. And you have seasons where you're crystal clear about everything you're doing. But then, well, you have seasons like this one that I'm in right now after selling my company where I don't really know what's next. I've got a lot of opportunities on my plate. I've got a lot of options of things to focus on, yet I couldn't confidently tell you that this is exactly the thing that I'm going to be doing. But the beautiful part of it, and this is the first thing I want to talk about.
And I'll say this, right? Because a lot of people struggle with this as well, where it's like they have all these different options that are coming at them. The reason why I tell you guys that you need a journal. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. The reason why I tell you that you should have a journal is because the journal is a compass for your life. And a compass is designed to bring you in the direction that you want to go. Does that make sense? So you can have all these options and you're like, oh, which one do I pick? If you check that journal and you're saying, this is what I want, 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 it's going to eliminate a lot of these different options because it's not going to give you exactly what it is that you asked for, what it is that you want. And so with that compass, you can be like, okay, these are my three options that I can choose. And then you could go from there instead of feeling like you're overwhelmed with 50 different options.
Talk about. The beautiful part of it is as humans, we have control over our future. So therefore, if you are presented with a multitude of options, you get to choose which one you want to do. Isn't that the most beautiful thing ever? You have the freedom to do exactly what you want to do. Some of you guys are constrained by time and money and resources, and that's okay. You can get out of that situation. But regardless of that situation, you still have the choice to choose what you want to do in your free time and choose what you want to build towards. So when you're going through these moments of feeling lost in your life, you have to begin to make a choice of what you want to do. And this is the position that I'm in right now. I've got all these options in front of me of new businesses to start. I've got all these people asking me to come partner with them, start a new thing. I've got all these YouTube videos that I want to shoot. But in the reality, I have to pick one or the other. I can't try to do.
And I want you to look at the fact that all of this involves making money. Now, hear me, right? Because nobody's saying like, oh, bro, once you sell your company, have millions of dollars, you don't have to, there's no more, you shouldn't be in business anymore. But most guys who are money focused, or at least who have the talent to be able to accumulate a lot of money, even when they get the money, the thing that they do in the spare time is go get more money. Even though, and again, there's a difference between people who like, this is who I am. Like, I love making money. This is like my passion, yada, yada. But most of them are not that. Most of them just don't have any hobbies or have any passions or have anything to invest this money in as far as ROI that's not money focused. Okay. And so because they don't have any of this, they're just like, well, I might as well go make more money, even though I have a lot of money. Okay, and so I want you to realize that all of the things that he just said just involved making money. All right, so come on, let's go on.
All of them at once, or none of them are ever going to come into fruition. So to get out of this feeling of being lost, the first thing we got to do is we got to make a choice. So for me, we're having all these options on my plate. Very soon, I'm going to have to make a choice on which thing I'm going to focus on over the next couple months and years.
I would say, so okay, I see where he's going with it. And I hate being this guy, right? Because I hate being like, wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, who am I, you know? But the reality of the situation is, if you have these choices, the first thing you have to do is check in with yourself. Where are you at in your life right now? What is it that you want? What are the things that you value? Because if you understood these things about yourself, making a choice is easy. That's the easier part. Because all you have to ask yourself is, which of these choices align with who I am and who I want to be? Does that make sense? You see how we're taking a step back and we figure out the most important part, which is the relationship with yourself. And then you can put yourself in a position to succeed. And when I say succeed, you guys know it's deeper than just money. All right.
The second thing we got to start building up is our faith. Every time I feel lost in my life, I think that is directly correlated with an emotion called fear. When we get lost in the middle of a forest, we are scared because we don't know what's going to happen. To be lost simply means to be fearful of what's to come. If you felt fully confident about where you were in your life, you wouldn't perceive it as lost. You would just say, oh, this is where I'm at. I'm figuring it out. The word lost literally means I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. So we need to make a decision.
Is that really what that means? Define lost. Oh my god, bro. Siri sucks, bro. Give me 1 second, guys. Define loss. Unable to find one way, not knowing one's whereabouts. Donating or denoting something that has been taken away or cannot be recovered. I don't think that's what he said. I'm gonna go back.
It as lost. You would just say, oh, this is where I'm at. I'm figuring it out. The word lost literally means I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what to do next. So we need to make a decision on what we want to do. And then we need to have the faith to see that thing through. You guys overwhelmed me with comments on my most recent video on his channel, telling me to build a stronger relationship with God. And I appreciate each and every one of you for that message, because it almost felt like the Lord was speaking to me through you guys. Thousands and thousands of comments of people telling me to get closer to Christ. That's something that I genuinely appreciated. And that is a journey that I am embarking on heavily and will keep you guys updated on.
Okay, so we have to mention this, okay? And a lot of you guys may not like this, but it's fine. Whenever you have some guys that are like lost in life and yada yada, everybody's going to say, like, everybody's default response, or at least religious folks are going to say, oh, find God, find Jesus, find Allah, find Buddha, find whatever, right? And in a way, they're right. They're correct, okay? But at the same time, the way God works, at least in my life, okay, it could be completely different for you, but the way that God works is you're going to ask God for purpose and direction. God's not going to give you purpose and direction. He's going to give you the opportunity to get purpose and direction. And so what you're going to ask for is essentially a journey of discovering your purpose. Okay. And it's like, if we're being honest, it's like you can do that yourself. You don't even need God to do that. You know, if you set a plan like this is what I want to focus on, then of course you're going to go through that. But let me, and again, this is just my life. This is my life. Whenever I ask God for stuff, God will give it to me. He will deliver it to me, but he'll give it to you in like the worst path that you could take. Like, you always have to go through some trials and tribulations if you're asking God for things. Okay. Because, and essentially it's designed to teach you that, listen, you're the leader of your own life. And if you want something, create a path and get it. That is what it means to be a part of God. You're a creator. You create these opportunities. But if you're asking God, God's like, okay, I'll give it to you, but you're going to learn throughout. You're going to take the long road, because I need you to understand that you don't have to ask me for stuff. You should be able to create your own plan and then execute on that own plan. Does that kind of make sense? I should dive a little deeper on that in another video.
Everybody tell me to read the book of Ecclesiastes, so that's where my journey is really beginning at right now. But faith doesn't always have to be tied to religion. You can have faith simply by existing and knowing that you're going to be okay. Think about getting in a car. Every time you drive a car, you got faith. You got faith that Billy driving on the other lane is not going to take a 2-inch turn and kill you in the car. That's faith. You need to be able to have this same level of faith in your actions, in your business, and in your life. So if you're feeling lost, it's because you haven't chosen what you want to do. And typically, because you have no faith, you're completely living in fear, and you genuinely got no idea of how you're going to make it out of this situation. The last thing that has helped me get out of these situations, and I'm really just dumping these thoughts because I know that's going to help me move forward in my life, just sharing these things with you guys. The last thing that I think helps me out of these situations when I feel this way is just starting and taking action. If I feel lost, and I'm going to use the analogy again, if I feel lost in the middle of the forest, but I'm standing still, do you think that's going to make me feel any better at all? No. The only way that I'm possibly going to feel better is if I start walking, if I start making a move.
Black pillars. They just don't take action. They sit in the middle of the woods, and then they're like, well, why is it so dark? Why is the woods? And complain about the woods instead of walking out of the woods or trying to figure out a way out.
Somewhere in some direction. From that, maybe I'll get some clues of how to get out of the forest. Maybe I'll find some food. Maybe I'll find some water. Maybe I will find the exit of the forest. If I'm stuck in my life, the same is true. So if I'm sitting still, living in fear, and not making a decision of what I want to do, I'm going to stay lost forever. And then my whole life is going to breeze by me. And I'm going to be 47 years old, straight up living in regret, because I stood there like a little baby saying, oh, I'm so lost in my life. And the reality is, that's what you guys are going to do. A lot of you guys are going to do that. And I'm not even trying to be mean to you. It's just statistically proven that only so many people go on to be successful and accomplish their dreams. And they live their whole life with this feeling of being lost. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that I'm lost, I'm lost, I'm lost, I'm lost, because the things that we say become who we are. The things that we say become true. Like, that's why they call it spelling, because when we say words, we is literally casting spells out into the world. The words that we use are magic. They are brainwashing us. So if you're always sitting,
That's why I tell you guys to have a journal, and you should be writing things down that you want. Because if anybody's going to put a spell on anybody, it should be you putting one on yourself.
there saying, oh, boo-hoo, I'm so lost. Oh, I'm so stuck in my life. I don't know what I want to do. You are just making that the reality. But if you say, hey, you know what? I'm figuring this out right now, and I want to do this thing, and I'm going to figure out how to make this thing happen. Suddenly, your whole energy changes. Suddenly, your whole momentum shifts in the direction of figuring that thing out.
But the one thing that I don't think he's mentioning is why. Why are you doing it? That's the most important part. Why? It's like, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to build this thing out. Why? Right? That's the underlying foundation. This is, again, this is how you build multi-million-dollar companies, or you sell it for multi-millions, and then you're there and you're like, well, now what? Because you never had a why of why you're doing it in the first place.
Even though I titled this video that way, and even though that is how I feel right now, how we feel is not a reflection of who we are. Feelings are simply temporary, and we can change our feelings in the snap of a finger. If I film this video right now and say I feel lost, but then I leave this video, I get out my little journal, I write out 10 business ideas that I'm super excited about.
See, I'll take it back. He has a journal. Is he using it the way that I would advise him to? Maybe not. But hey, at least he has a journal.
Pick one, and I start walking in the direction of building that business. Within about an hour and a half, I no longer feel lost anymore. That's how simple it is to get out of this prison. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video is these mental prisons that we make for ourselves. In the last video that I made on this channel, I said that I
had a point that I was going to make. I didn't know if he was done with that thought. The thing that he says is correct, but what he's going to do, I call this what it was. It's like a circle. Have you guys ever had this thing that, and this, I want to say it's rare, right? But what happens is, like, you'll go through life, right? And you'll feel like you're being tested, right? And then if you fail the test, what ends up happening is you have to do it all over again. You guys ever felt like that? You ever felt like you're going in circles? You ever had that moment in your life like that? It's because you're not understanding the lesson of what you have to learn. And then this is what I think he's doing as far as not understanding the lesson of why. Why are you doing this? Okay, so what he's going to do is he's going to write those 10 business ideas. Again, notice what's going on. He writes the 10 business ideas. He picks ones. He goes in that direction. He's going to go in a giant ass circle again, sell that company for millions, and he's going to be right back where he was, where he's like, I'm lost. You see what I'm saying? Because again, this is what a lot of people who acquire money do, or people who are really good in their careers do. They just go in this giant circle of making a bunch of money, going through the process of trying to get a new job or a promotion or a new company. They sell it, they make a bunch of money. Then they're back where they started. Then they do it all over again, because you have to realize that there is a next level, especially when it comes after making a bunch of money. That's where life gets really good, after you make a bunch of money. But again, a lot of guys don't have that understanding.
Was depressed. And now in this video, I'm saying that I'm lost. Now, these terms are simply feelings. That's how I was feeling that day. I'm not depressed today. I was feeling lost this morning. After this video, I'm going to start taking action, and I'm not going to be feeling lost. You need to stop putting those labels on yourself as absolute truth, because they're not true. I get so tired of hearing my friends and my family and my subscribers coming up to me, telling me these absolute truths that are simply facades that they're putting on themselves. Oh, I'm such an anxious person. I always have anxiety all the time. I'm such a depressed person. Oh, I'm a failure. Everything in my life is always failing. It's like, bro, okay. There's a man who thinks he's right, and there's a man who thinks he's wrong, and they're both right. It's just how you look at the situation that makes it the reality. So when I say that I'm feeling lost, I'm simply saying that that's how I feel right now. And I'm simply saying that even after making millions of dollars and becoming a successful young kid, it happens. I bet you.
Successful in terms of money. I really want us to get this, because again, if you're growing up, especially now in the social media era, people think that as long as you have the money, you're good. And that's not true at all. It's further from the truth. You're gonna feel even more lost. And even then, luckily, I don't know him personally, but luckily he doesn't have crazy vices that I know about. Because the moment you get money, the more money you get to spend on that vice. All right.
You can pick the most superstar person that you could think of. Tom Brady, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, whatever. These guys are probably feeling the same thing. But the difference between them and you is that they don't let it dictate their entire life. And more importantly, they don't let it dictate their actions. They simply pick a path to move forward, have faith that that thing is going to work, and then start walking and get to work on that thing. And that will get you out of feeling lost. That'll get you unstuck in any situation. Thank you guys for subscribing to this channel. I'm gonna keep dropping.
Okay, and so again, just to reiterate this point, it's not the very first thing that you have to learn is you have to build a relationship with yourself. That's personal development. Personal development is building a relationship with yourself, because once you find personal development, you're going to see your strengths, you're going to see your weaknesses. Then you go into self-improvement because you want to improve on those weaknesses and improve on those strengths. It's through that journey of improvement that you start to learn more and more who you are. Does that make sense? So let's just give a quick example. Let's say that you're on your personal development journey. You're trying to go pick up girls, right? You realize that you suck at picking up girls. So you work on your weaknesses to figure that out. So you're going out, you're trying to approach. Well, then you realize that you're scared. You're very terrified of having conversations. Then you have to go through with yourself to go through and have that conversation. And then the first time that it goes bad, you have to be able to pick yourself up, build yourself back up, and understand like what helps me get back into the game. What helps me trigger my emotions or motivation? You see what I'm saying? You start to understand who you are, because if you can understand who you are, it's very easy to pick certain things. All right. So yeah, so again, you have to be very careful when you're in his position, because again, what he talked about in this video was him just building another business. And again, if that sets your soul on fire, that's your passion, amazing. But I'm willing to guarantee that if we sat down and we had one of my famous talks, 2-3 hour talks, right? I can guarantee you it would not be just building another business. Business would be a part of it, but it would be a lot more. We would scratch a lot of more fulfillment itches when it comes to being a human being. Okay. And so what he's doing right now, at least from my outside looking in, he's going to do the same thing he just went through, which is pick something, go on this journey, having a bunch of fun and things of that nature, sell his company or make a bunch of money, and then be right back in the spot again. All right. So if you guys see this video, go ahead and tell him to book a consultation with me, book me, email me. We can have one of our famous talks. We'll even do a live, and then I'll show you guys the sauce. All right. So with that, guys, I'll end this video here, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.